Hi Rob, thanks for joining us post-match at Atherton. Another game, another solid first half performance, again where we were the better side. Then going into that second half, I believe that again we were the better side for the majority of it, but unfortunately we come out with a 2-1 loss. What's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, frustrating, disappointed. I think to lose is hard to take, to leave with nothing. Not get anything from the game. Just really frustrating. First half, we were really good. We played some decent stuff. Our structure was good. We were organised. Throughout the game, we've limited to very, very little opportunities. And that's what makes it so frustrating. I'm disappointed with us in second half in relation to what we did when we had the ball. We didn't play as much as we needed to. Listen, that helps manage situations in game as well by having the ball. Obviously, that can stop the opposition from causing you problems as well. So I'm disappointed with that. And then they score, and then they're throwing everything at you. And listen, because of, I don't think they've not been asked to sit back. That's not what's coming from the staff. I just think that in-game situations can cause people to drop. Obviously, the frustration of last week and trying to grind one out and get a win over the line is probably impacting that maybe. But yeah, listen, we've got to be braver. We've got to get a higher line. We've got to squeeze the ball. They've got good, decent movement and rotation, and that can sometimes cause you problems, and you've got to solve problems on the pitch, and they change shape and loaded the top end of the pitch as well, which probably impacts you having to sit a little bit deeper. But like I say, we've got to be braver, and that's obviously with how we play the game, but also mentally as well. I've asked them before the game to be strong, be resilient on this pitch. Whether you're at the bottom or the top, and sometimes it can not always work out how you expect it to. Sometimes when you're at the bottom, you have to absorb some pressure. So there's going to be a spell in the game, like any game, where you have to be resilient and you have to be dogged. And yeah, the frustration is the penalty at the end. Ozzy says it does hit his hand. It's difficult to see from where I am. But then we don't get a penalty at the other end. Henry gets the wrong side. He's bearing it on goal. Why would he go down? So yeah, listen, it's tough at the minute. We're not quite getting the rub of the green. The frustration last Saturday. Some bits on Tuesday night, and then again today. We're missing 7 players, so that impacts your strength and the depth of your squad. But listen, we've got to regroup. We've got to go again. We've got to be positive. We've got to react well, and we've got to show our character and respond. Fine margins in football. It was last week. It was again today. We've just got to land on the right side a little bit more consistently.
Yeah, brilliant. And you spoke there about obviously the latter part of that second half, around 75-80 minutes. We seem to sit back a little bit more, allowing a lot of pressure on ourselves. And obviously that's been seen in Tuesday night, pretty much when we played Benalswick. And you say that's not coming from the coaches. Is it kind of a mentality thing for the players that they're a bit kind of scared to maybe push on a little bit and get that second goal?
I don't think they're scared. What I'm frustrated at is on our game management with the ball, because we're not asking them to do anything differently. I think you can be positive and go forward in the latter part stages, like any moment in the game, as long as you're structured behind the ball and you're ready to deal with counter-attacks, is right. But yeah, second half, I don't think we got hold of the ball as well as we did probably first half. That then impacts how you link the play in and how you move up the pitch. But the messages they're given have never been any different. We want them to play, we want them to move the ball like we did first half. We want them to get into the wide areas. We want to get the ball into strikers' feet, and we want to be a threat.
Yeah, and like you said before, in the first comment, you mentioned that obviously we've got quite a lot of injuries at the minute. And is it just about getting over the line, getting 3 points on the board, however we do it?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at the league's so competitive. Everybody can beat everybody. And they've come out fine margins this week and beat 2 teams. And ultimately, that's what it is for us. We just need to get over the line. We should have got over the line last week. And even when we went behind, we should never have lost the game. Tuesday night, again, we've got to be better in the first half, and we've got to win the game. And then today, if you can't win it, you certainly can't lose it. Yeah. And that's a frustration.
Yeah, and obviously near the end of that first half, we had some good chances to go 2-0 up. How important should that be to put our chances away and go in to that half-time 2-0 up, or start the second half going 2-0 up?
We know the impact of goals in football. Goals do change games, and you saw that last Saturday. And we've just got to try and be, as clinical as we possibly can be. Gaz has been brilliant for us, and he's scored some really good goals. He is gonna miss. He's had a couple of chances today, and I know what it'll be like. He'll be frustrated. Rowan's got in there and chopped it and tried to shape one in the corner, and it's just gone wide. But yeah, listen, we need to be more clinical. The frustrating part is we've limited them to really very little. Shot from the edge of the box, a second shot from the edge of the box, probably second half. We defended our box pretty well from wide areas. And then obviously they get a penalty at the death, and it's a real sickener for us. Yeah, and it was a debut for Adam, centre forward. What's your thoughts on his performance? Yeah, he did well. He gave us something different to what we haven't had recently. And he gives us a little bit more directness, a little bit more of a threat. He linked the play okay at times, and he secured the ball for us, and he made the runs that we need him to. He's a good player, and obviously he died away a little bit in the game because he probably needs more minutes and more pitch time to get fitter and sharper. But he'll certainly add to us with the amount of injuries we've got. I counted up 7 players we're missing. We had to go and get some players in. Because we need more strength and depth. And listen, you take 7 players out of any team, it's going to impact. Yeah. Like you say, what we've got to do is come out fighting, grind one over the line, and give us a platform to really build from. Yeah, brilliant. And looking ahead, we've got AFC Liverpool at home on Saturday. Yeah. Obviously, they're not in the greatest form. Yeah. And obviously, what sort of challenges are they going to give us going into that game? Like any team in this league. Any team, top or bottom of the table, they will have spells in any game. All right, and it's what you do to manage those spells, the ascendancy that you can have, and how clinical you can be when you get your chances and obviously put the ball in the net. But we've got 2 sessions this week. We'll need to get back on that training pitch, improve in some aspects. And listen, hopefully by next week we might have another couple of players back, which will certainly help us. And just give us a little bit more strength and depth. Yeah, bro. Cheers, Rob.